Well, welcome once again to another in the series, this little film we're making called Percy's Progress. Little dog now, he's 47 weeks old, so we're really not very far off of his first birthday. And as you've probably seen in previous videos, we've been really concentrating on his hunting, trying to get that nice little flowing pattern in. And that's going really well. He's started to pull me a little bit now, so I'm having to just tighten him up. But what I have now been doing is moving on to some handling, some directional work. Now, I've done this kind of informally in some of the previous videos. You'd have seen where I've been hunting him and stopped him and thrown a dummy out and then sent him with my hands. But now it's time to really start to formalise all of that. And there's basically 3 directions I'm going to send him. That's left, right and back. And what we've done, we've come out to the wood today and I found a lovely little kind of almost a T-junction. We've got a nice ride here and then another track runs off down that way. And this kind of situation is ideal because what you can do, you can set up basically 3 different directions, but you can actually do 4 exercises out of this. And the main thing really is if you send them for a direction and they go for the wrong one, you've got to try and stop the dog, because what you don't want him to do is go and pick up the dummy, the wrong dummy, and almost kind of self-reward themselves. I'm going to sit him up here in the middle to start with. You can see there I've got good eye contact as normal. He's quite excited about these exercises, although he doesn't look like it at the moment. So what I've done is I've set Percy up centre of the long track, dead in line with me down on this one. And I'm just going to start him off with basically a right hand cast out first of all. Now a couple of things I always start with. Before I send them, I just blow the stop whistle or that little pip just to get their attention. And if you think about it, when you are giving them directions out in the field, you're always going to stop them before you redirect them anyway. Going back to our steps that we've been building up on, obviously you can't do this if your dog won't sit at a distance from you, and you can't do this unless your dog's steady to a thrown retrieve. So that's why those early steps that we did are very important. So we'll start off with a little furball, leave it. I'm just going to throw that off to the right hand side to start with. Now you don't want to about throw it miles away. A couple of things to watch now. I'm going to have my whistle in my mouth just to give it, hope that pheasant doesn't put him off. Just give him that little pip, and that pip is look at me. And I'm not going to send him till he actually looks at me. Now you can see him looking at that at the minute. Now the whistle should attract his attention. And a good firm hand signal. Don't pull your hand in back too soon. Get out. I'm going to walk back up to the point. Good boy. Good boy. Sit. Wait. The other thing is don't be too quick to pull your hand in. My very first cocker I was having problems that when I was sending her left and right, she would curve in at me. And actually Simon Tyers, who won the championships 2 or 3 times, I went for a couple of lessons with him and straight away he picked up. So I was pulling my hand back in too soon. So good step out, especially in the early days. Almost you like you're forcing them out. So we'll leave Percy there, and this time we'll give him a left one. Leave it. Same principle. Now you may have noticed I actually walked back up to the point where he's sitting. At this stage I always like to do that because it means they come back in a straighter line than starting to curve off. So that whistle again. Now I use a release command. You can remember at the early stages where I was waving my arms about, just to get him used to that, almost desensitise him to it. Good eye contact. Get out. Walk up to my point. Good boy. Good lad. Good boy. So this time what we'll do, we'll go left and right. Leave it. Okay, and you don't want that dummy miles away, that's not the point. Now the golden rule is never ever send them for the last one you threw out, because that's the one they want to go for. Now you can see there he keeps looking back at that one. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go slightly to my right. So my bias is that way for him. I'm watching his body language. I'm ready just in case he goes for that one. Get out. Good lad. Now watch them when they come back, they don't run past you. Good boy. Good lad. That's the other advantage of walking back to where they were sent from. In this situation, you're actually blocking him going for that left-hand one. Line up on the left one. Get out. Back up again. Good boy. As you can see, there is still bags of enthusiasm for this game. So as you progress on with this exercise, you've got your left and your right. The other thing I'm going to do now is just add a slightly more difficulty to it, because what I'm going to do, as I'm sending him out on one of those scene retrieves, I'm actually going to throw a blind down this track. Now, blind is one that he actually won't see go out. And what I'm actually doing there, I'm now testing whether he believes that when I say get out, there is something there for him to find, albeit whether it's seen or whether he doesn't see it. So what I'm going to do to start with, we'll put a left out on that side, and we'll put a right out on that side. Going back to what we keep repeating, that's the one he's going to want to go for first, so I'm going to send him for the left one. Get out. Nicely done. Here. Good boy. Good lad. Put that back out as a distraction. I'm going to send him for the right one this time. And what I'm going to do, as he's out on that right one, I'll put my blind out. Just get my retrieve. Now looking at him now, he's very tempted to go for that left one, so I'm going to have to be on my toes here. Leave that. Get out. Put my blind down the alleyway. Back up to my point. Good boy. Good lad. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give him a back on that one there. Remember, he doesn't know that one's down on that left-hand side now. Go back. Nicely done. Back here. Good boy. Wait. This little jumping habit, I'm not actually deterring him too much from that. On another video we do, I'm teaching him to hold and sit there with something in his mouth. I don't want to put him off at this stage. I want to keep that enthusiasm up. I'm just going to walk back here because he's going to get ready for me thinking, he's going to be thinking I'm going to send him either that left or right again, but I'm not. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull him round. Percy, heel, heel. I'm going to send him for that blind down that track now. Now what I want to make sure is that his body, he's aiming in the direction I want him to go. You can probably see there, his head keeps going to that one. That was the one I've just thrown out. I don't want him to go for that. Now I could try and block him, but what I want to do, I'm going to let him have that temptation. I do think sometimes these little dogs have got to go wrong to learn. So I'm going to tell him to leave that, leave it. Send him down this track. Get out, get out. No, here. Good. Just what I thought would happen. Leave that. Get out. That's better, good. So he's learned a good lesson there by going wrong. Good boy, he's got to listen to me. And what he'll do is he'll get his reward by finding the retrieve. Good boy. Good boy. Sit. Sit. Hey. Good boy. I'm not going to take that ball off of him till it's in his mouth. People often ask me why do I put so much handling into my dogs, but actually when I go shooting over them, I want to know that if something gets shot and they don't see it, that I can actually handle them out to it. I don't want them to handle like Labradors, but I do want them to be able to take directions at a distance. It's a way of getting those birds collected efficiently, especially if it's a runner. I'm happy with that, mister. Good. Good lad. Well done.